Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody's doing well. And I'm excited to be able to talk with a colleague and a friend today. We're going to wait just a few minutes for some people to jump on here. We have something super exciting to tell you about. Lisa Ridgers, a fellow artist and friend, is going to be joining me any minute now. Hey, Lisa.
Here I am. Hi, Kat. How are you?
Terrific.
Good. Excellent. I'll apologize in advance because I think the Chihuahua is about to come in. Yeah, there she goes.
No problem. So Lisa and I have been doing something kind of undercover for the past for the past year, and I have to start out with saying I've never met Lisa in person.
This is true.
And so, but I've always admired her work, and we share a gallery in Chicago that we're both represented by, called Chicago Art Source Gallery. And when I would go there to drop off my new inventory, I would always see one of her paintings, and I would say, oh my gosh, who is that artist? I love this work. And
yeah, absolutely.
I followed Lisa on social media, and she followed me. And in the pandemic, I think it was right in March, we started commenting more on each other's work, right? We had more time.
Yeah.
And then we started messaging.
Yep.
And so you asked me a question in that messaging.
I did. It came to me. I don't know how it came to me. Maybe there was an incy bit of tequila involved. I'm not sure. But I thought that it would be a really fun idea because our styles are somewhat similar. Our palettes sometimes are similar. And I had also done the same thing, walked in Chicago Art Source many times and seen your art on the wall and made a mental note and had been following you for a while. So I thought, if it's going to be some downtime with the pandemic and we both got some free time, why not see if we can collaborate? And I wasn't quite sure how that was all going to pan out and exactly what even I meant by it. You jumped on it and said, yeah, I'm in, let's do it. And the whole crazy year has unfolded since then. I can't believe it's been a year. I was looking back through my photo roll and saw the first sort of inspirational ideas and the first looks at what we were doing. And that was a year ago. It was in March.
I know it's really crazy because so Lisa and I devised a plan that we would both work on the same exact canvases. And so now Lisa lives, tell us where you live.
I'm in Dayton, Ohio. So I'm pretty much straight north of you, about a 9-hour drive.
Right.
And we'd only just moved into the house at that point. So the studio was a mess. And I just sort of jumped right in, sort of blindly, really. And it's been a really positive experience. Been a few road bumps along the way, but I'd say that it was a fantastic experience for me. And I can't even remember who kicked off the first canvases, but it sort of went along the lines of Kat would start one piece, prep another blank. They would come into me. I would make my marks and do the second pass on her piece, start my first piece, and then it would go back to Kat. And this sort of happened all year long. I was so confused by the end of it. I didn't know what was coming and what was going, to be honest. And here we are, a year later, we're just about to open.
Right. We passed canvases. Some of them, we lost track of how many times they went back and forth.
And I don't even know who started half of them anymore. I'm looking at the same, where this one is, or it was a mind-bending experience, but I think it really forced me to grow as an artist too.
Yeah, it was super challenging because I remember, like, if it was fine if I started the canvas, I felt like really confident and secure. So I would start one canvas. I'd have a blank that I prepped, sent it to Lisa, just like she described. And then she'd make her marks on both. She'd start the blank one. She'd do the second layer on the one I had sent that I started. and then they'd come back to me, and then it always felt like, whose painting is this? You know?
Exactly. It was, you just sort of, I spent a lot of time just sitting and looking and sort of contemplating. It's so weird when you're looking at a painting that's not finished and it's your turn, and you try, you don't want to overstep your mark. You want to be sort of, you know, very, very open to everything else. You don't want to go over somebody else's beautiful mark. So it was tricky in the beginning until we found our groove, I think.
Yeah, it did take a while to get our groove. And so we ended up doing 12 large canvases back and forth across the country. These canvases went back and forth at least, you know, I'm going to say at least a half a dozen times each. And then after those 12, which those 12 seemed to take forever, because, and then we had to make this giant chart, this collaboration chart, you know, who had what canvas,
Yeah.
you know, was it finished? Whose turn was it?
Absolutely.
It just got really crazy. And what's interesting though, is each painting has like both of us in the painting. It's so cool.
Yeah, it really is cool. And I didn't know if it was going to work and look succinct at the end of it, if it would even make sense. I'm obviously very relieved that it did. And I think it's a really nice body of work. I think it's a really nice, upbeat, positive representation of a year that was just so crazy and weird and uncertain.
Yeah.
And I think, I know we started off with one idea at the beginning of the show, and I don't know if you want to talk about that or not, but it quickly changed. I don't really know
it totally changed.
It totally changed. And I think I'm really happy with that, because it's a really positive sort of message. The show is called Lift, and it's bright and it's fun. It's just uplifting, I think. It's a real sort of mood lifter and a boost that we all need in such times, still weird times.
Yeah, you know, it was like opening a Christmas package. Every time I got, you know, like the tube would come back, and, you know, my husband would say, the tube's back. And I, you know, I would be so excited because we all knew what that meant, the tube's back.
Yeah.
And, you know, I couldn't wait to unwrap it, to see what Lisa had done, you know, where things were. It was super exciting. And, you know, it really was like a Christmas present, because, you know, I had sent her what I had done, and then it changed. I don't know. It was so interesting. And
it was. We
decided to, you know, this was kind of a way to cope through the pandemic. The paintings are happy. They're bright. They're joyful. And, you know, we had a ton of laughs along the way. we you know, lots
here and so much can't.
Lots of conversations where, you know, what did you do in this corner? What happened? You know, it was
what's up with that?
Yeah, it was this, you know, a real collaboration, like some real give and take. And, you know, we had to get comfortable covering the other person's marks.
That was tough for me. That was really tough. I felt so guilty.
Yes. Yes. It was really weird because, you know, you wanted to preserve the other person's mark making, yet you wanted to infuse your own in there. So it was a real struggle at times. There was a lot of, you know, give and take. And I remember we had like 1 month where we had 2 canvases in kind of an angry stage. we you know, we were struggling.
Yeah, we did. We got to that point, and I think we both just sort of scratched our heads with them. And I think that we just sort of obliterated it and sort of started building those 2 back up. But it got to that point. And commissions got interrupted on both sides, our usual regular businesses, which I don't think we expected that at the beginning of the year. I thought, well, it's going to be a really quiet year. Our business is basically going to be, you know, crickets. And it wasn't that way for either of us. It was actually a lot harder to juggle than I had anticipated in the beginning.
Right.
Would I do it again? Maybe not via mail. If I was with you, and we were just slinging paint around, that I think would be my next step, to do something like that. But it was a really good positive experience, and it really stretched me to sort of think outside of my normal realms and my normal palette and my normal mark making. Yeah, it was interesting. I'll say there were a few curse words here and there in the studio, but only a few.
Right. Maybe more than a few.
Yeah, well, maybe.
You know, you know, it did stretch me as an artist, and it was really like, to have somebody else work on your work.
Yeah.
It's a very unusual experience. But I think, once we got into a rhythm, the canvases were moving back and forth, and we had multiple going all the time.
We did.
And then, we wanted to have this show have at least 20 paintings, and we decided on 24 paintings. So we did the 12 where we were passing them back and forth and both working on them, which took forever.
It did take a longer than I thought it was going to.
And then, we were trying to figure out what other way would really be kind of interesting to collaborate. And we decided that we would each do part of a pair of paintings. So one person did a painting, and then the other person had to create a painting in response to the first one.
Yeah.
And so we did 6 pairs like that for the other 12 paintings in the show.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that was kind of challenging because, I remember one that you sent me was in a palette that I've never worked in. And I was like, oh my God, what do I do?
I was messing with you.
Yes. So it was really, I've never done a collaboration. So for me, this was exciting. I learned so much, and to be paired up with such a talented painter. So
likewise. And I think that made me more comfortable because I knew what we were capable of. We had a happy hour also while we were sort of doing all this sort of planning and scheming, and we just hit it off immediately. You and your spouse, me and mine, and we had an hour or two, and I think that made me feel much more comfortable. I knew you were very capable on canvas, so I was fine with trusting you to do what you did, and you did it brilliantly. You're an amazing artist. Incredibly. And I can't wait to meet you one of these days.
I know. It's, unfortunately the show opens at Chicago Art Source on April 22nd. And it's called Lift.
Yeah.
And we felt like it was a real kind of uplifting show. It's a beautiful show. And I feel like I can say that because the paintings, although they're mine and Lisa's, they don't totally feel like mine. They feel like ours,
Yes, absolutely. I would say that's really accurate.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I just wish we could be there. It was, we hummed and hawed about it and almost did and almost didn't. But the opening is the 22nd now.
yes,
it runs through
end of June.
End of June. I'd love to be able to go up there and see it at that time. Maybe we should coordinate and go in undercover.
That would be great. That would be great. We could do like a sneak attack and check out our show.
Perfect. I'll wear an Elvis costume. You decide what you're going to wear.
Well, we hope that everyone will check out the show. We are going to be posting over the next 2 weeks, glimpses of the behind the scenes of what it was like to, to put this together, to collaborate. And it was just a total true collaboration. The works are kind of this perfect blend. And
they are. Yeah, I really think they are. I couldn't have asked really for a better outcome.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for watching our big announcement. We're going to be, like I said, we'll be posting behind the scenes on social media for the next 2 weeks leading up to the show. And if you're in Chicago, you've got to go see this show.
Definitely. It's an incredible gallery as it is. The space that they have there, it's really nicely set out. It's in Lincoln Park. There's a great brewery around the corner, a restaurant. It's just a lovely part of Chicago. And well worth seeing. They have tremendous artists in there. Very good gallery. How long have you been with them?
I don't know. I was trying to remember. Over 10 years, but the rest is a blur. What about you?
Yeah, I think 15 years, I think, somewhere between
Yeah.
10 and 15. But like you say, it is all a blur. But they're great people. Jackie, the gallery director there, will take very, very good care of you. They're super cool people. And so, yeah, I thank you all for joining us. It's been very difficult to keep stum for a year to not say anything. It's been quite the challenge. But I'm glad the cat's out of the bag. Cat's out of the bag, all pun
Right. Literally.
literally. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the sneak peeks behind the scenes. And yes, absolutely, like Kat says, if you get a chance to go into Chicago and see it, you won't be disappointed.
Exactly. I was going to say something else. I just lost it. Gosh, maybe it'll come back to me. But I think I just wanted to say, if you're an artist and you do a collaboration, I have to say it was much more work than I anticipated. And I think once we got into it, I think that month where we had the angry canvases, we had 2 angry canvases, was because we were really overwhelmed with our personal careers.
So, yeah.
And then trying to keep the collaborative work going. It was a challenge.
Some long nights and some weekends, and yeah, one sort of day merged into the next. It was a lot of work. It was, for sure. Glad we did it. I feel super good about what we've achieved. I really do.
Absolutely. And I remember now what I was going to say. I just was going to mention that, we danced around the idea of posting for the entire year. And instead, we felt like that was going to pressure our results and our painting. And so we elected to wait until the entire body of work was done, because we just didn't want to be influenced, by the outside world. We wanted for the 2 of us to figure it out and get it, get the works completed without having, I guess, input from the outside. We want it to be a very authentically collaborative body of work.
I think that was the right thing to do. I really do, looking back on it. Yeah, it was weird to keep not speaking to anybody about it, really, but it was good. It kept the work just totally focused between you and I, like you say, without any outside influence or feeling like we needed to go in this direction or that direction. It was just down to us. And it was super cool, because if a piece wasn't up to scratch, it didn't need to get submitted, but everything did work out.
Yeah, it's a beautiful show. I hope you guys can check it out. And I hope that you and I can check it out sometime, Lisa.
That would be great. And let's coordinate that, because I'm not walking in there without you.
That sounds perfect. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. And we'll see you as we post the behind the scenes on our social media accounts.
Great. Cool. Thanks, Kat.
Thanks, Lisa. Bye-bye.
Bye.